What do you want to take, though? Something not too greedy. So you can set a tempo, make some space here for the morph. Okay, they'll go for the puck. That's going to lock down heroes like the Slardar, the Void Spirit. Going to be a little bit frustrating for them. Of course, you've got to keep in mind, though, John, you do have the BDZ. In fact, I said, is it BZ? Is it BDZ that is playing the Rubik here?
Yeah, I
should
do
be.
recall that, right? Yeah, it
so-
is him in the pause 4, and he did do a lot of work with it before. He stole a lot of big spells.
Yeah.
And mind you, with a puck, it's not too hard to steal Dream Coil for the most part, especially if the Rubik's outside that spell. So it should be a really easy spell to steal. That's going to be a big one to turn on MG.Trust. It does fit in really well, though, as you mentioned, really sort of selfless pause 2. Needs a little bit of initial farm. I'd say timing on Blink Yules. If you do go that route, it's going to be important for the puck. Beyond that, you can just kind of play around with that. Should be nice. Again, setting up for their team fight. Not the strongest synergy still, but you can make it work with the ET Lina. And it can lane against the Void Spirit really well. So MG.Trust covering their bases. Not the flashiest lineup, but it is a lineup that can run at your face early on. If they get that good start, it can really start to snowball. Savage is on a comfort hero this time around. So he can slowly build up. Show us what he can do in that Morphling once more. Execration for their part. Looks like we are still waiting for that safe lane pick. Unless they're going to go safe lane Slardar, which you don't see too often without the IO. So more than likely still going to be something else. Again, Jug is an option here. No PA, no Lifestealer. Only the Jug has that built-in spell immunity. Perhaps they look at Troll or Ursa. Both of them haven't been as popular, though. And it doesn't provide you that protection that the Jug would.
No, it would not. 25 seconds left to make this final pickup. Execration. Still wanting that position 1. It's a matter of what you want to take.
The next label play.
You still got the Spectre there.
One by one,
You just wanted to pick up the Spectre here for Execration. Oh,
Ooh.
no. Disgusting. The Arc Warden comes out and... Well, there you have it. That'll be the draft for Execration. I'm not sure how I entirely feel about it now with that Arc Warden being last pick, but I suppose it is going to allow you to really drag out the game if you do fall behind. And if you get ahead, well, it's Arc Warden. It just does Arc Warden things.
Definitely does. It's an interesting game for the Arc Warden to play with. Of course, the Morphling doesn't want to be standing outside to get hits. At the same time, the Morphling can kind of just dive in with his spells as well. So there are some options there for Savage to close the gap. We'll have to see how Yoa does deal with it on his Arc Warden, whether or not he can get that early start. It is a rather concentrated lineup from Execration, so we're looking at 4 heroes to buy space out for Yoa. At the same time, these heroes can do that fairly well. Slardar, Rubik, Undying, and Void Spirit are active early on. Same thing goes for Motivate.Trust. They've got a lot of space they can buy out for their own heroes. Savage is really the only key thing that needs to farm a lot. Maybe Death down the line. Oof, I'm actually thinking back. We've seen a couple of CK offs rush Agnums, and I'm recalling right now that was actually the one matchup in open qualifiers where I saw it a lot was with our friend Godot. Their stack, Godot was playing that offlane CK, and I don't know how to feel about it if it is going to be the Ag rush for MG.Trust. I think the investment feels strange. So we're going to have to see how Nevermind does build up here and tries to get that utility out in the hero.
I do agree. I mean, the Ags is... It feels kind of broken in the right drafts, I've got to say, John. Like, with all those illusions just constantly kind of running at you, it can be a bit hard to deal with them. They may not have too much of an issue with this Arc Warden dealing with them, but we'll see. It's the game 1 between Execration and Motivate.Trust is set to begin. I want to give a quick shout out as well, John, to the... I was reviewing the VODs yesterday. There was a couple people that were quoting the good old Dr. Disrespect with the Raul every time we pronounce Rupido, so good to see we do have some cultured people in the chat. Always a pleasure.
Oh, that takes me back. Do you remember when the doc was still kind of... When PUBG was fresh, the doc was just building up, right? And that the Rule song came out. The best. I can't say the sponsor name because, well, but, you know,
That's a great song.
that was a great song. Takes me. I miss those days. You know, when PUBG was fun, when Dota was fresh before this patch with the outposts and silly stuff. When my friends used to play Dota, Mike, they're all gone. They've moved on.
Don't
They've
say
got
that.
lives now.
Don't say
They've got
that.
lives.
What happened to you?
Well, you could tell me, Mike. What am I? What's happening with me? It's good times. It's good times. Still good times. Rupido is enjoying it.
Rupido. Definitely is. Are we pronouncing his name wrong, John? Or are we just taking the piss out of the poor guy for no reason?
It's not exactly wrong. It's just we are exaggerating, to be fair, but it's not too wrong. I'd say it adds a bit of flair. I'm sure he's fine with it. You know how it is. He'd probably find something to poke fun with us as well. Just the way it goes in the Philippines.
Yeah.
That's how we do it, right? Like the Australians do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to claim ignorance. If I ever see him in person. I'm just going to say, hey, look, man, I'm Australian. I have no idea. John told me it was pronounced Rupido. And that's what I did. So if you want to beat someone up, go beat up John. I'll help you out. I'll hold him down for you.
Yeah, well, he's gonna beat some people up in this lane. It's a Slardar Rubik lane for Rupido this game. They are up against the ET played by Boombell and Savage on Morphling, so not the easiest lane to bully out. But if you do play with your Slytherin Crush here, it does have a fairly wide AoE. And again, you've got this lift combination with BDZ. If Boombell oversteps, gonna be an easy target to take out. So gonna have to wait for those levels to build up. But Savage, for his part, again, it's gonna be hard to finish him off early. Once he has level 3, the strength shift is gonna be enough to keep him alive.
It certainly will, and of course, up until that level 3 point, you've always got someone like Boombell there on the Elder Titan to just be a real nuisance. With that Astral Spirit, getting so much bonus damage and just starting to run at you, hit you over and over again, can be quite difficult to deal with. Of course, we'll have a look at the other lanes as well. Mid lane, you do see Fearless up. Did the players change? In fact, never mind, because Fearless might just be dead here. He hits a Fairy Fire, he's going to survive and now salves up. But I could have sworn it was a different player in the mid lane yesterday.
Yeah, I believe it was supposed to be Ken. I'm not sure if this is Ken with the names bugging out. Shouldn't be bugging out with the team showing properly, but could be a stand-in. Perhaps Ken's not here, so J-Mini is taking over. Fearless is having a decent time. Again, it's a melee lane up against a puck, and J-Min's got to be careful with that.
Oh, Savage. Top lane, still level 1 on the Morphling, gets abused by the duo of Rupido and, of course, the Rubik being played by BDZ. They hit the level 2 timing just a little bit faster on the Slardar, and with that, he had the bash, he had the crush. It seemed like a very easy kill to get onto 23 Savage.
Yeah, he's got to watch out. Before level 3, his shift is way too slow. Even Boombelt's not that tanky, so trading like this is not necessarily good. Rupido is dropping low, but it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, bot lane. Yoe, he does end up going down. Q picks that one up. Meanwhile, top lane, Boombell will also die to BDZ. You've got to be very cautious. If the lift does come out, it's very, very easy to just perma-stun and deal enough damage to take anyone out in this lane.
And this is the exact kind of start Execration wanted to get done. They've got a draft that can co-op fairly fast. They're making it work against Savage. He's going to have to work extra hard to bounce back from this slightly slower lane. He's still finding last hits, but it's not a very comfy lane for him. Boombell also going to be a bit slower to recover here. The bot lane as well, though, for Execration is equally as hard. You saw Yoe fall. Not the best of news for an Arc Warden. Midas timing going to be offset by that, so both teams have to watch their pause ones. Not heroes that like playing from behind too often.
No, they do not. Expecting a bit. Oh, another new player, John. Death on the CK.
Yeah, I think that's just Nevermind, but I can't be 100% because he's not officially on the roster. I think he is just temporary as well.
Well, Yoe going to be in a spot of danger here. The double stun is going to be quite painful for him, but with the help of RR and the Soul Rip, he is going to be okay to sustain himself in this lane. We'll have a look back at this later as top lane. Looks like Rupido is being chased down here by Boombell. But he just turns back around onto Boombell and dishes out so much damage. They aren't really able to finish him off. However, Boombell looks like he did cancel off the salve of this Slaughter. So at the very least, you did get through the that regen he did have left. Bot lane, RR is going to get dropped here. Q and Death do take him out.
Yeah, it's a really good pickup for Death. They are working this dual lane quite well. Q's just working that spacing out that he can get with Lina. Even Yoes really forced back a bit. So it's been a really uncomfy lane for Arc Warden. Look at his last hits here, Mike. 14-1. Even Savage up top in a very contested lane's having better time. So this is good news for MG.Trust. Execration is going to have to find a way to recover here for their Arc Warden.
They will. Top lane, how's Savage going now? Doing very well, 22-5. Just going to increase as time goes on, and it's kind of like you mentioned earlier, but he's just kind of unkillable now.
Money to burn.
As is the balanced life of Dota. Just level 3, can't kill you anymore. It's something you'd hope gets changed one day, but it probably never will be, as Savage gets lifted up. I didn't just cast this Curse Savage, did I? No, I did not. BDZ will be forced to back off, and Rupido is trying to find a crush, but he will not be able to get one. With that, everyone does back off quite safely.
That's a missed opportunity, but really good saves coming out. Bot lane, however, Q.
Yeah, Q, he's gone. You know, if there's one thing I know about Arc Warden, John, in fact, maybe I don't know Arc Warden, Q will survive. Light Strike Array comes out, and Death will be able to find the kill. Alright. Well, apparently I have no clue about this hero, and that's the way I like it anyway, John. I don't play this garbage. I have standards.
Yeah, unfortunate for Yoa. He's just not getting anything in this lane. Last hits are still lagging behind here, Mike. 19-3. Again, the Lina just doing a lot of work. Top lane, though, it's been tough here for MG.Trust. They drop again. And Savage left alone here could be in danger.
He could be, but he's got the level 2 strength morph. He's going to be alright. Still, of course, the Slaughter are going to be very, very happy about securing that kill. BDZ will allow him to have a free lane while he does go for a big pull with what looks to be a triple stack. And mid lane, there's actually 2 heroes here. It looks like they committed the Dream Coil at some stage on J Mini.
I came a long way to see you die.
J Mini's going to make a rotation up towards the top lane. He'll spot out Boombill. Boombill just getting those neutral creeps awake. It's like J Mini might actually go for them. He's thinking about it. Yeah, he's just going to clear him out. It's a lot of gold out for J Mini, as now Boombill does try to interrupt, and Savage, he'll get himself a couple of large creeps. A Dream Coil is going to be there from Fearless with the added silence and the stop to come in, but J Mini is going to wait it out, and looks like he might just make it out, so he does walk away. Fearless felt like he needed to try and help out Savage, and with that, nothing comes from this rotation on the puck.
A bit of a missed opportunity. Good calls coming out from Execration, saving out J Mini, forcing out the TP as well. You see the lane swaps here from MG.Trust. They drag Savage down bot. They're going for a very early tower push at right around 8 minutes, but the defense is coming in here.
That it is. J Mini gonna try and fight back up against Death, but Death gonna try and run. Still, the lift back is there from BDZ. On the side, Savage trying to deal with the tombstone. Death somehow still alive, but the actual step is gonna fly through, and J Mini is able to get the kill, as the rest of MG.Trust are just gonna back off to safety. That's definitely a nice pickup there for our Void Spirit.
Yep, it's another successful rotation, this time for Execration. This does make Savage waste some time. He's not going to find a subjective anytime soon. He's not looking too healthy as well. I'd say our Morphling is running a bit of a risk going for this lane swap early. You've given Rupido a free lane up top. So our Slaughter now is just taking complete control up there, getting that solo EXP up. He's going to have a good timing on his own build-up, and it's just too slippery to catch out of Void Spirit with Alina Morph. It's just not going to be enough at this stage in the game as well.
Oh, Fearless, he was chasing down RR on the Undying, but decides better of it. Wouldn't really be worth even throwing the Dream Coil out for, I'm sure. They are trying to set up once again for this bottom tier 1 tower. You do have BDZ around, but he understands that the rotation has come along as they are underneath vision as we speak. It's like MG.Trust not going to try and rush in at all. They're just going to wait for the perfect timing. 23 Savage, meanwhile, will get started on slowly just hitting away onto that tier 1. Now they do show themselves, but J-Mini and BDZ both here. And there'll be another rotation out, this time from our Arc Warden, Yoe. But nothing going to come of it. It was just the Tempest double anyway. Meanwhile, up the top lane, they do get the Dream Coil off, and Death is there on to the Slaughter. Rubido in a bit of trouble, but BDZ going to be there to try and help out. They do get the Crush. Orb is out, but Death does have the Reality Rift. Be able to secure the kill onto our Slaughter.
It's a solid kill to get. They do manage to slow down Rupido, who was having a free lane. They still do not find objectives, though. So all these rotations out aren't leading to a increase in map control for either side. And so far, in a way, this is a success for MG.Trust, because Savage does get to farm a little bit more. The Arc Warden, though, is starting to wrap into the Midas timing. And that's when things get scary. Once Yoe is allowed to farm up with his Midas, you do have to watch the Arc Warden at this point.
You certainly do. I'm sure Motivate.Trust are going to be somewhat concerned about how well Yoe has been farming. He's only about 300 gold behind Savage on the Morph. And that is going to be a pretty big concern for them, as you don't really have an amazing farming tool on the Morphling. Speaking of Savage, by the way, John, have you seen what he's queued up? Straight ads.
Yep. That's an interesting one. Like, I'm not sure what he might be going for. Is he just going to turn into the CK, get the crits on his side, and get the control? Or go for the ET, double stuns as well, get the... Oh, no, it's going to be the ET. Right, the Ags upgrade ET, Astral Spirit with a free BKB. We've seen that a couple of times. And it can be broken if the timing's right, so we'll just have to see if Savage can save up. He has swapped out again, you know, into a Manta and a Shotgun. So we'll see what he does opt for in the end. But the Ags here with, again, Elder Titan, the free BKB is very potent.
It certainly is. Maybe just later on he can go ahead and pick that up. Our top lane almost went down on the Undying. He's going to be fine. Tier 1 top and bot both being traded up. Mid lane, they were trying to get a bit of a push going, but Savage, he understands. He just wants to farm right now on that Morphling. He is top of the net worth board, so no real reason for him to try and be clever or anything like that, going for that mid tier 1. Just back to farming. Of course, Yoe, even with that Midas, is going to go for the Maelstrom straight after that. And that's kind of what we're used to seeing for a very long time now with these Arc Wardens. They do tend to just go straight Maelstrom after the Midas, and that's when things can get a little bit silly.
Yeah, and the split push really kicks in once you have that. Now, MG.Trust are sort of setting themselves up to preempt that. Fearless has those early BOTs up in his puck. They've got some option to run around, meet that Tempest double, take it out, stop the split push with his high mobility puck. I think that's going to be very important for MG.Trust. Fearless has to know where to be on the map to stop Yoa from getting that free shove out. They should keep that in check fairly well. Still, Execration do come out with a bit of a smoke. J-Mini is fairly strong at level 9, so could look for an opportunity around now.
J-Mini, who does he find though? Like he's going to run into his teammate. Savage is on the low ground. This would be a great target if they believe they can get through to the HP pool of Savage, but the scan is going to come out, and Savage is playing very confidently, just waiting around, not too afraid of this as BDZ. Does show himself for a second. Savage already knew. He will just back out. In the mid lane, however, they do spot out Boombell, and Boombell is going to be surrounded. He'll try for the stomp, but he goes down way too quick. BDZ on a killing spree now on this Rubik, does have another kill under his belt. And it looks like it is probably going to be a very nice game for him as the game goes on. However, top lane, Fearless is going to drop to J-Mini. And mid lane, they also found Q.
Oh, BDZ. That is just the sweetness of Rubik, right? He started off with a Chaos Bolt, pops it off, gets the Light Strike Array afterwards, after throwing the Chaos Bolt, and finds that kill. Triple stun on one hero. How's that balanced?
I like Rubik, John. Don't talk about balance when there's an Arc Warden in the game. I don't want to hear it. There's an Arc Warden and a Morphling in the game, so if we're talking about balance, I don't want to see any attention directed to Rubik. Thank you very much, sir.
That's fair. That's fair. Still starting to lay into that tier 1, and that's where the Arc Warden really starts to shine. The push just comes in, even with just a Tempest double, it's just slowly being chipped away, and MG.Trust have to find an angle here.
Well, they haven't got the coil though, that's a big problem, but they're going to go in with the Reality Rift onto the Slanner. Rubido trying to run away, but the Laguna is going to be there from Q onto the mid lane. Savage being stunned up by that light strike away from BDZ. That'll be it. They can't find much more, but they do get themselves a position 3 kill, and they do successfully hold on to that tier 1 mid tower.
I'd call that a pretty successful defense. The tower does go down to 200 HP though, so it's not going to be too long until they can find it in Execration's hand. They are still playing poke with J Mini, but it's just him alone. He doesn't really have any backup to go for kills now, so they're just forcing the concentration around mid. They are sticking around as a team in terms of farming up right now, not giving any openings towards MG.Trust. That is slowing down their farm efficiency. You can see MG.Trust slightly ahead in terms of overall net worth, just 1k up. Savage is also pulling ahead of our Arc Warden for now, and that is pretty much the best news you could hope for on MG.Trust's side. They just need to get these key items flowing out as well. Fearless's Blink is going to be very important for our puck to start jumping in, getting the proper Dream Coils off, and once you have that, I think MG.Trust can start to look for bigger fights down the line.
Well, they'll go for a big smoke up now, Fearless, along with Boombill, and I believe Q is right behind them with a new Aether Lens up now on the Lena. They're going to find J Mini. Dream Coil is out. He has no way out of this one as the Light Strike Array and the Rift comes in from Death. A great stomp out as well from Boombill, catching out too. They'll try to go after the Tombstone first, and now it's on to Rupido, who is trying to run away, but it looks like he probably won't make it out. As Savage even comes in and takes the kill for himself.
Just a really good smoke out, catching the right heroes. Big stomp coming in, the control coming through. And the fact that BDZ is not around, I think outside of your Slaughter, the Rubik is the next best thing in terms of total control. And when you're running around without BDZ, you're probably not going to win a fight. You need that Rubik's lift. You need his damage mitigation with the Fade Ball as well. And he was just way too far from that fight to help. They are going to be able to defend though in Savage.
Stomp is coming in, and that was BDZ's stomp, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was actually Boombill. With that, I mean, they don't really get much for their trouble. They're going to go back to that mid-tier 1 tower. Yoet throwing the Tempest double in. Meanwhile, RR not expecting them to still be around, but J Mini now going to go on to the Lena. Q is going to get traded. 1 for 1. I believe the side of Execration will probably be more satisfied with that trade. It is still Motivate.Trust, however, with a 3k net worth advantage.
Yeah, they've really pulled ahead here. The Blink is up now and Fearless as well. So our Puck Dream Call combination is going to come through a lot easier. And they are still building up this lead they've got on Savage. It's not a massive amount, but he is still pulling ahead of an Arc Warden, which is never good news when you have an Arc Warden. Still smoke up.
Places a ward. J Mini going to spot him out now, but can't really keep up with the Auto Titan. Looks like they are going to back off. However, Boombill, he's not done yet. He wants to keep scouting up. Fearless, of course, with that new Blink Dagger, wants to get involved. But they aren't going to find an opening. Execration have wisely backed off. And so instead, they're going to try and force the team fight by going into the mid-tier 1 tower, it seems. Big DD room being picked up here by 23 Savage. Actually perfect timing for him as well. And he also gets the Manta up. Problem is, you're up against an Arc Warden. So he's not going to allow you to push like this for free.
Nah, it's really the most annoying bit. And Yoa can get some good damage in. Savage at least denies that mid-tier 1. But that objective is gone, so it's a little bit more open for Execration to start running around. They're still trying to close out this network gap. It is still hurting them in the end, and they have really sunk all their eggs in one basket. It's all in Yoa right now, so everyone else's farm is low.
Certainly so. And there's that Aghanim Scepter. Now this Axe, John, it can start to become very overwhelming, especially this early on. There's just so many illusions globally being spawned up. I don't know if Execration really have the draft to put up with this many illusions.
It's going to be tricky. A lot of it relies on BDZ, I suppose, using Fade Vault properly and probably getting some lucky hits with a Maelstrom, getting some bounces off in the middle. They're going to need to get that done, which means BDZ positioning going to be key here. Still saving up for his own blink on that Rubik, but that mid-tier one does fall in the end, so MG.Trust evens out the map control, and they do get some good farm going in this bot jungle. There's just no contestation so far from Execration. They're playing on the opposite side of the map and just getting some steady farm themselves.
That they are. We're gonna group up in mid once again. Does have the boots to travel up, so is much more mobile now on the Arc Warden. Still, a team fight looks like it's about to break up as Savage. He's trying to bait in the mid lane and he's going down pretty darn quick, but now with the strength morph, he's going to survive as the illusions from death start coming in. Who do they want to start on? It looks like they want the Slaughter, but Rupido is going to be able to just run away as he is on the river. They keep chasing, but it's only death. A three-man coil now out from Fearless, going to hold them all down with the Earth Splitter, but it's not going to be enough quite yet as Savage comes back in, trying to find a target. He'll go after BDZ first. They'll get one. Fearless does die to J Mini, however, and now with that, the Void Spirit finds a double kill as he goes on to Q. Savage still trying to fight back, kills off the Slaughter. RR set to drop as well. Savage on a double now as he goes after Yoe, but J Mini, he finds a triple kill on the Void Spirit. And Savage, he does not want any more part of this. A 3-for-3 trade. It does seem to have potentially just favored Execration by 1 gold, might I add, John. Literally 1 gold positive. And so a very even team fight for the for both teams. But speaking of even, 11-11, 1k net worth lead. Ones all over the board.
It's all ones all the way down. It's a really tight game for both sides. Not the most amazing showcase of that first Ags use on the Phantasm, but it still did its job. What I think MG.Trust has to do now is really maximize this Ags upgraded Phantasm, right? The cooldown's lower now, 75 seconds, so there's much more uptime for Death to go around with its supports, with possibly just Fearless around as well, getting some kills. They need to keep running down. They do smoke up, so they understand what they have to do. Maybe they find something big this time.
Well, they may. Blink Dagger is now up on the Slaughter, however, so you've got that initiation from Rupido as they do go in now. Fearless gets a nice Dream Coil off. They have silenced up BDZ. He wants to try and steal that Dream Coil, but it is a bit too late as Savage comes back in, takes down the Rubik, and takes down the Tombstone. Execration looking to back out. That Tempest Double is not going to last very long. It's just so much damage out as now Death. He was looking for another. They won't mind though. Mid lane. They'll get started on the tier 2 tower with or without creeps. And on top of that, John, there is another DD rune up at the top rune spot if the side of Motivate do want to keep going for another.
It's going to be a big spike for them if they wanted to. Going to get some good damage in. Could potentially go for the Roche. There are no wards here from Execration. So they can spot... no, in fact, this one ward they drop in your mid just doesn't give them vision into the pit. So could be a Roche play for MG.Trust down the line. For now, going to bottle that DD. The shotgun for Savage is just about done here as well. So it's going to be flying in. The damage output of our Morphling is starting to kick into full gear. You do not have a BKB up yet on Yoe. You don't have any major spell damage mitigating stuff as well.
They jump in, but Savage, he's got the Ethereal Blade up now, and they just blow up Rupido. Death trying to go in. A big Dream Call out from Fearless. They've blown up J Mini onto BDZ now. He gets a nice Light Strike array, and that is not the way we want to pause the game. Savage straight away with the question mark, like, what the hell is this? But, hey BDZ, calm down, sir. No swearing here. And PC hang. What does that mean, John?
Probably PC just froze up for a bit. Looks like fixed itself. Ready to go. Still a very question mark moment.
It is.
Right on, Savage.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here.
Savage, yeah, just blows up BDZ, says see you later. Onto Yoet. He will also die.
Total spawnage.
I gotta admit, John, that was a lot of frames, so I'm not gonna be surprised if they did get FPS drops, as I have been experiencing a lot of that over the past month.
Yeah, you know what? It almost feels like Dota's just as demanding as Cyberpunk sometimes. just really stressing out some systems here. Still, that Roche we were talking about does fall. Savage does get the Aegis up. So a really good reveal on the shotgun on top of getting this Aegis as well. MG.Trust back in the lead here, Mike. 11 to 16, 6k lead up. They are just going to be able to take some free objectives on the map. They've got a couple of ults up as well. Fearless has his. They've also got the ults up on Q. So they've got so many ways of setting up these disables and also countering the disables on Execration. Execration needs to find an angle, needs to get Yoe up to par.
That they do. Yoe is trying his absolute best. Because actually bot lane, Fearless. Gonna get caught out, completely surrounded by 3, including a Tempest double, but up at the Radiant Triangle, RR also ends up going down at 23 Savage. 6k net worth lead still remaining here for Motivate, but they're not going to be too happy about losing their puck like that. Fearless was trying to split push, but does get picked off, and you've still got to pay respect to the side of Execration. They do have a lot of pick-off potential.
Yeah, they still have this insane reach with J Meanie on that Void Spirit. He's got the Yule's combo as well for his side. And you just kind of respect that power. And you've also got this blink up on BDZ. So he's been setting up for his team. The blink is going to allow our Rubik to get in better spots in these fights. It does give a lot more utility towards Execration. Plus the Ags being finished up here as well. So Jamie's got that AoE silence with a Resonant Pulse. 2 charges up as well. You have to be cautious about these item spikes here on Execration as they do start to chip away at some tier 1s. MG.Trust though are setting their eyes out for tier 2s already, so not going to be a favorable trade if they leave this undefended.
Yeah, certainly not. Of course, they do have the magnetic field being placed there by Yoes, so they're not going to have too much of an issue just delaying that top tier 2 being taken. Execration, they will occupy the dire triangle for now, and all the rest of MG.Trust, they've smoked up. They want to go for a big team fight. Back into their own triangle they'll probably go. BDZ in position to break the smoke if they do plan to run up, but Fearless is going to scout out with an orb. BDZ does blink away, but they continue moving forward onto the Rubik. They do commit the Dream Coil. They just want a nice easy kill, but BDZ stole the phase shift. It won't matter, however, he will die. And now the Phantasm does come out. And that is quite frankly, John, what does drop FPS quite a lot. This Global Phantasm, every time that Death pops it, my screen freezes for a solid second.
Yeah, that is pretty sickening. Yeah, think of it as a cyberpunk experience, Mike. That's all it is. Dota's just trying to be Game of the Year as well. For 10 years counting, of course. Grand old game. Still, MG.Trust, they find not the biggest pick-off, right? Like, the Rubik's not the most important target for Execration to lose. They're still getting some space out for Yoe. He's still at number 1 in that for it, although he's not really leading by any noticeable margin. Savage is right at his heels, and you need a little bit more on this Arc Warden to really be up there. BKB is up, though, along with his Mjolnir. So the split push can really kick up to full gear, and Execration do smoke up now.
Oh, they're going to look to blow up the Tempest double there. Savage getting himself some nice gold. Into the bot lane. Oh, Yoe, I meant to say, may have just kind of revealed himself, but right behind the side of Motivate.Trust, they will get caught out. Boombill gets stunned up by the Slanner. They jump in. A lot of illusions popping up. Savage, he's going to take down one in the form of the Undying onto J Mini. Rubido can't survive. He will die, but Savage is getting very low and will go down. That's the Aegis gone. Still Death fighting back just by himself with all these illusions. J Mini will die. And it's just so hard to fight into the Aghanim Scepter of the Chaos Knight. It's just too much.
Oh, it really is. They don't have enough wave clear to handle it. Even the Fade Bolt spam is just not good enough here for the side of Execration, so they need to find their spacing out. And the insane thing is, that cooldown for death is so low now. It's down to 75. It's going to be up in half a minute. And the high ground.
Well, Savage is trying. He has to ghost form himself. He's a little bit afraid of the damage that might come up from Yoe here as they does start string morphing up. A big stomp out from Boombo. Where's the follow-up damage? It's not going to be there. Savage in a bit of trouble, needs to waveform out. BDZ on the chase, really wants the kill. That'll be it. Close call there. They would have loved that Morphling kill, but they would not get it.
It's a pretty good defense, though. So nothing happens to their tier 3. For the most part, it is going to be standing. They get to buy themselves a little bit more time, but MG.Trust are still in the driver's seat here. 13 to 21, 8k up on the side of MG.Trust. The Ags for Savage just about ready to fly out. Like, he's just waiting for his courier to respawn, but he's going to have his Ags as well, which means he's probably going to go for the ET. Get that free BKB on his side. Really long charge as well if you bump into a lot of heroes. And Execration's going to have to find some other way to deal with this Morphling now.
That they are. It's like one of the ways they are going to deal with it, John, is the Eye of Skadi to be built up on Yoe. Aghanim Scepter, though, on Savage is going to prove to be a huge problem as, yeah, he will morph into Boom Belt. Get that free magic immunity. Who needs a BKB when you can just pick Morphling and buy an Aghanim Scepter instead? And you were trying to tell me that Rubik is broken, John. How dare you?
Oh, shut up. This is still nice, though. Like, besides a BKB, look at that added damage you can get once the Spirit does come back in. It's pretty ridiculous just how much you can do.
I forgot about that. I'm here talking about magic immunity, and I forgot that he gets a shitload of bonus damage. Excuse my French, by the way. It's just kind of ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah, it's good times for Savage as soon as he gets that in, and whoop.
They get one. Fearless will deal with the Temper Stumble up the top lane as well. And Death now with the Haste Rune is just a walking death machine, but it will wear off. J-Mini getting caught out by a Light Strike away, and a great Dream Call out. It looks like they are going to kill off the Void Spirit mid lane. With the death of the Void Spirit, they can definitely go for that mid-tier 2 tower. In hell, they could probably try and force a buyback after that if they want.
Yeah, they could really set their sights for the high ground. Now, they don't have any Aegis, so it could be a bit of a risk. And you do have some split push coming out from Yoe. He is trying to shove at the side lane, so it's not going to be enough to hold Savage off. And they are going to set their sights out for the high ground slowly but surely.
Well, there's a Spirit moonwalking right now, John. There it goes. Savage's Spirit just doing the old moonwalk in the middle lane for a second. They are going to back off. No real kind of priority here to push too quick. Yoa with the Eye of Skadi now definitely going to be a lot more dangerous in terms of going against that Morphling. Meanwhile, in the triangle, Yoa just sending the Temper Stubble in, trying to get a bit of vision. But Death is waiting in that triangle. Nobody's going to be around, however. They won't walk up. Instead, they'll set up for that top tier 2 tower now. Motivate.Trust should be able to secure this fairly easily.
Yeah, and there's just no defense coming through. They are still trying to split push out with Yoe, but that's all they can really hope for. Their outer towers are all gone now. So MG.Trust only has the high ground to go for. They might wait for this next Rosh. Half a minute away. So relatively quick respawn timer on a Roshan. And that is going to be Aegis and Cheese. So they're going to have even more durability coming in, even more sustain for themselves if they do secure that objective. Execration do not have wards outside. They are smoked up, but with no information, it's highly doubtable that they'd find anything.
They might find Fearless. They've caught him out here before. They are looping around. They might spot out the orb that was just thrown out by Fearless, but he goes for a quick TP play. The ping's coming out very quickly from J-Mini, but it is too late. And it's immediately into that Roshan pit. And that is very unfortunate timing for Execration, as they're literally across the map on the opposite side. They can't make it in time to try and defend this.
No, it took way too long. Aegis and Cheese now up as well, so they can easily look for the high ground, and it's all down to Yoe. It's all about the Arc Warden getting split push, getting a response out, but it doesn't feel like he's a menace. Like, Savage is always within 1,000 gold of him, so he doesn't have a major item advantage, and an Arc Warden without a major item advantage feels like a Alchemist that's not ahead as well. You know, it just kind of falls flat, and all it can really do is sort of split push like this for Yoe.
You know, Morphling players always get the most value out of everything. But the fact that they get level 25 voice lines of every single hero they morph into, as well as their own Morphling voice lines, it's just not fair. Bot lane. Fearless, he's going to orb away. Won't be caught out by BDZ. $12K net worth lead now here for Motivate. Very nice, easy game for them. They seem to have really found their footing, especially after yesterday.
Yeah. I'd say a big part is that Savage is on a comfort hero, right? Like, they pull out the Savage morph. We were talking about it in the draft, but this is the hero he's been known for since entering the pro scene. This is what he debuted with, and still something he does really perform spectacularly with. So this is probably within the lines of expectations, I'd say. Oh.
Yeah, Yoe getting caught out by death. And again, John, with this one item on CK, you can pretty much kill anybody, as now Savage is going to come in, throws out the Astral Spirit first, gets himself some nice bonus damage and a free BKB before he gets worked on the tier 3 as, whoa, RR getting blown up by death. Straight underneath the tier 4 towers. They ghost form him up as well, so he can't really die right now. Death just going to try and slowly run away. Rubido coming in for a stun, but a big dream call out now by Fearless. Savage going for the stomp, walking back in. He's low in HP, but it won't matter. He'll just strength morph now, and they're looking like they're in real bad shape here, Execration, unless they will kill off Savage. But that is one life. On to the next. A stun comes out with the lift, and Fearless is there to try and defend. A 3-second stun now out from BDZ, but Death is coming in. A massive stop from Boombell into the fountain. They go, it seems. Savage trying to continue fighting 1 versus 4, but can he get this done? He's looking to be in pretty big trouble. He ghost forms himself up. He has no waveform yet. He will finally get it off at 1 HP. He will still survive, but the zombie's going to kill him off. The zombies will get ya. And MG.Trust, they need to run. Or maybe they don't. Call an ambulance, but not for me, they say, as Death pops the ulti. Fearless going back in now, doesn't have the Dream Core unit, but does have it in 3 seconds as Yoe, the poor guy, just being dragged back in into the loving arms of Death, and it is not going to be a pretty sight. He will die, so will Rubido, and now the Laguna is out for RR. BDZ's trying to survive, but he cannot. And I think we found the real carry, John. It's Death on this CK. He could literally kill anyone on the map by himself.
That he can. He's just making amazing work so far. That's just with a Blink, Ags, and an AC. That's all he really has. And the GG is called Execration. They had a great early start. We saw some big performances out from BDZ, but it's just not enough to carry them through. Savage had his comfort pick in the Morphling, and MG.Trust, after a very rough time yesterday, looks like they have shaken it off. They are on top. I do believe Death might be a different person to Nevermind, so it looks like they might have a sub in. I have to find out in the lobby, but he is performing really well. Such a huge step up in the off lane. And as long as MG.Trust continue to perform this way, I think we're seeing glimpses of the old MG.Trust that we used to see and know and love.
Absolutely. It's definitely looking a lot better than what we saw yesterday. And, you know, we're all glad to see it. But Execration, it's not like they were falling too far behind that game, but the draft definitely didn't come together. Let's see if they can try to get a draft that'll work in game number 2, which is set to come out in about 10 minutes. See you all then very, very soon.